Welcome to another great cooking class here at the Pastor's Pantry Cooking School. I'm your host, Sam Peters. It is so good to have you with us. We have a great class planned for you today. Every time we have a group of folks with us, we always like to share the two things that Joyce and I are most passionate about. We call it the gospel of good taste. The first thing we're passionate about is we believe everything's about stewardship. We're passionate about food, and we believe food is a gift. James 1:17 tells us that every good and perfect gift is given to us by God. And so we want to try to teach you some things today about food that will help you enhance the dining experience at home so that you can make every dining experience great. And that leads into the second point that we're very passionate about, and that is we believe God created us to be in community with one another. And nothing builds community more than gathering around the table to break bread with one another and to build relationships. We believe that because Jesus believed that. Throughout Scripture, he's always eaten with people, building relationships. Food is just a great metaphor for community. And so we're hoping that what we teach you today will help you enhance the dining experience so much at home that when you gather around the table, it'll be a sacred time and a sacred place. Well, we're doing a great class, as I said. Today, we're doing Italian casual dining. It's one of the things we get requested most for here is Italian food. And so I want to talk to you about what we're going to make first. We're going to start off making our meatball subs. Let me give you the ingredients for this recipe. We need a little bit of extra virgin olive oil just to brush the sheet pan that we're going to be using. But for the meatballs, we need 2 cups of panko breadcrumbs. And use panko, they're a little crunchier. You're going to like those better. 2 large eggs, 2 pounds of lean ground beef. We need 1 cup of chopped parsley, 1/3 cup grated Parmesan cheese, 1 clove of garlic minced, some kosher salt to taste, about a 1/3 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, a jar of our Parmesan Marinara sauce. We'll need some mozzarella cheese for topping, and some basil or parsley for garnish, and we're going to need 10 hoagie buns for this. So we're going to get started with making our meatballs. We have an oven that's preheated to 400 degrees all ready for us. We've got a baking sheet we'll prep here in just a moment, but I want to just show you very quickly and easily how you can make these meatballs. We're going to go ahead and add in our breadcrumbs. We've got our eggs. I want to beat these eggs a little bit before I put them in here. It just makes my life a little simpler later. So we've got 2 large eggs. So I just want to lightly beat these before I put them in here. So we're going to add that to our ingredients. We have our Parmesan cheese, our parsley, our garlic. It's actually a little bit more than a clove. We love garlic here. You can use however much you want at your house. Paint your little happy tree and happy cloud wherever you want. And then we have our red pepper flakes, gives us a little bit of heat. And then a couple good little pinches of salt. That's probably about 3/4 of a teaspoon going in there. Now with very clean hands, we're going to dive in, and you want to mix this together just like you were making a meatloaf at home. That's really what we want to start with. So just get in there, begin to work all of that together. Be sure and get all of those ingredients incorporated throughout the meat. It'll all go. Trust me. I'm a professional. And you want the really lean ground beef for this too, because when you bake it in the oven, you don't really want to release too much fat. So I like 80-20 or 90-10. Works for this. You're adding flavor to it. Fat's where the flavor's at, but since we're adding flavor to it, you can get by with the leaner cut of ground beef. So we're just going to keep mixing this together till we get it all combined. Okay, we've got all of our beef completely mixed up. I want to go ahead and just drizzle a little bit. We've got parchment paper down to help with cleanup, but a little bit of olive oil. This is just going to help them cook and not stick. I'm just going to brush those, get that all nice and coated. And now we need to go ahead and make our meatballs. And we're just going to make these like golf ball size is really all we need. So just pull off a little pinch just like that, about golf ball size, and just roll them up You don't have to pack them super tight. That's really all we're looking for, okay? Just roll them up just like that. Put them on your cookie sheet. Okay, we have all of our meatballs all rolled up. We have it on our baking sheet. A little bit of olive oil there on the bottom. I want to give you a little tip as well. While you're rolling these together, after several, your hands will begin to get a little sticky from the fat that's in the beef. If you'll just rinse those with water and leave your hands damp, it really helps to roll those together. So we're going to put these in a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes, just until they get nice and brown, and then we're going to take them out and we'll put that in our sauce here a little bit later. All right, now it's time for us to make our fruit crostata. I want to talk to you a little bit about fruit crostatas. This is actually something that I learned to make as a teenager when I did a lot of chuck wagon cooking, only we called it a buckle, okay? So what I've learned is that there's 3 versions of this. They're all 3 the same thing depending on what style of food you're using. If it's an American cuisine, you'd call this a fruit buckle. If you were making French cuisine, it would be called a galette. And we're doing Italian, so we're calling it crostata. Who knew? So it's the same stuff. But let me tell you the ingredients for this recipe. You need 1 of those packages of pre-made pie crust, 8 cups of fresh or frozen fruit, a ½ cup of unsalted butter, 3 tablespoons flour, a ¼ cup water, ½ cup of white sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar. You'll need an egg white and 2 tablespoons of water to make an egg wash. And you'll need turbinado sugar just to put along with the crust. Okay? So we're starting out with a ½ cup of unsalted butter. And that's already melted in the bottom of our pot. And what we want to do is we want to make a sauce for this crostata. So we're going to go ahead and get that on the heat. And I've just got that on medium-high heat. We're going to add to this 3 tablespoons of flour to kind of make this into a paste, make it kind of a thick sauce. Now we don't want to make it like a gravy, so again we want to be careful and not let this go too far, but I want to cook that flour taste out. Turn the heat down a little bit more, still just a tad too high. We're going to add to this our water, our white sugar, now starting to get thick, and then our brown sugar, a cup of brown sugar goes in there. So we want to stir all this around. We want to get it incorporated well. We want the sugar to melt down. We want to get this up to a boil, and then we're going to reduce that and cook that for 3 to 5 minutes. So we've had this simmering for about 5 minutes, so we can take that off the heat. Now we want to go ahead and pull in our crust. So what we have here is we took 2 of the pre-made pie crust. We put 1 in the bottom of a 10-inch skillet, and then we took the other one, we sliced it about 1½ inches thick so that we could kind of press it along the sides. And this just makes a really good crust for our galette. Now to this, we're going to go ahead and put all of our fruit in. So we have a mixture of strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries. These were just frozen. We just let those thaw out. Okay. So press those around a little bit. Now to this, we want to go ahead and add that sauce we just made. Pour that all over. And now we want to take our pie crust and we just want to turn this down over top of our fruit. You can pleat it every now and then, it's okay. Just fold it down over the fruit. We want it to hold all of our juices in. We want it to give it a little bit of a crust on the outside edge, okay? This is where our egg wash comes into play. We're going to take it and brush it along the side. It's going to give us a nice golden brown crust. And then to add a little bit of pretty and a little bit of crunchy, we're taking that turbinado sugar, and it goes by a lot of different names. Turbinado sugar, demerara sugar, sugar in the raw, it's all the same stuff, but it's crystalline raw sugar. And we're just going to sprinkle that into the egg wash, and that's going to give us a nice pretty crust that's sweet and crunchy. All right. So now we're going to put this into our oven. Our oven is preheated to 450 degrees. We're going to put it in there for about 30 minutes until the edges are nice and golden brown. Okay, we're going to move into our roasted Parmesan cottage potatoes. I've got 2 pounds of russet potatoes that have been diced 1/2 inch size. You can totally use Yukon Golds, or you can use red potatoes if you'd like. The other ingredients for this is 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs, 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, a teaspoon of salt, and 1/3 cup grated Parmesan cheese. So we've got a preheated oven at 425 degrees. What we want to do to prepare these is really easy. We're going to drizzle them with our olive oil. Make sure you get enough in here to coat everything. Just going to toss those around a little bit so they can all get coated. So those are all nicely coated. Now we want to go ahead and get our seasoning on there. We've got our breadcrumbs. We're going to put about 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. We're going to save the rest of this for garnish. We have our Italian seasoning. And we're going to do a teaspoon of salt. And that's all we need. So I'm just going to toss this around. Get it all well coated. This is a simple recipe. You can do this at home. Okay, so we've got those well mixed. I have a baking sheet with some parchment paper. We're going to go ahead and dump these out. Spread them out evenly. And those go in a 425 degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes so they're nice and golden brown on the outside, but still nice and tender on the inside. Okay, we're going to be making our air-fried spinach and ricotta ravioli for you now. It's a great recipe. We get a lot of questions about using air fryers, and we're going to be honest, I'm a traditionalist. I kind of put off using an air fryer for the longest time. Finally, we got one in, and we love it. We are making so many great things with it, and this is a great recipe that you can make at home. So we've got our air fryer all nice and preheated. These are spinach and ricotta cheese ravioli that we just picked up at the market. They're already made, so that was kind of neat. It kind of saves us some time. And so we're just going to try to layer these in there evenly. And I'm going to squeeze one more in there. We've got 10 of them in there. And you just want to lightly spray them. And we're going to put them in the air fryer at 390 degrees for 5 minutes. You want to shake them around a couple of times while it's doing that just to make sure they get well fried, okay? All right, so our ravioli are done. They're nice and brown and crispy. We just want to serve those with a side of our Parmesan marinara sauce. Okay, we're ready to go ahead. We've got our meatballs down. We're ready to go ahead and get that ready. We're going to turn our stove on. So I put all the meatballs into a pot or a pan here with some of our sauce. And all we want to do now is we just want to coat them well with the sauce and heat them through. So just stir those around. We're going to let those just heat up for a minute because they just came out of the oven, so they're still nice and warm. I just want to get them well coated with the sauce. We've actually kind of kept the sauce kind of warm as well. We've had it on our pilot light. So just gently stir those around, get them coated well. We want everybody well baptized with sauce, okay? There we go. All right, so those are pretty well coated. I'm going to let those keep warming here for just a few seconds while we get ready to plate. So we have our plate here all ready to go. We have our hoagie bun. We have our air fried ravioli with our marinara sauce, and we have our roasted Parmesan cottage potatoes. So I want to get me a big spoon here. We're going to go ahead and build a sub sandwich. I think we can put about 4 of these meatballs on here. Yeah, I think we can get a 4th one on there. That'll work. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we've got that on there. I want to put a little bit of our shredded mozzarella cheese. A little bit more, because you know if a little cheese is good, a lot of cheese is better. Want to garnish this with a few leaves of basil. These are fresh basil leaves off a basil plant. And maybe just a littlest pinch of Parmesan, because I love that nutty flavor. And we want to go ahead and put some Parmesan on our potatoes. And I'm going to put a little bit on top of my sauce because I just love parm. All right, we're ready to give this a taste. Kind of cram my sub together there. Let's try our meatball sub. The Italian seasoning inside that meatball is fantastic. And then when you add that to our sauce, a little bit of cheese and the taste of basil, that's incredible. We're going to try one of our raviolis as well. This is a spinach ricotta ravioli with a little bit of our Parmesan marinara sauce. It's fantastic. The sauce makes it. We have that here in our culinary building, so if you ever need any marinara sauce, come see us. And then let's try our potatoes here. I love that, again, that little nutty, salty flavor of parm on these potatoes. They're really crispy on the outside with just a real, kind of still tender on the inside, and great, kind of a great crust with the cheese and stuff on there. That's fantastic. So we've got that all done. I'm going to finish eating that later. But I want to show you our dessert. There we go. That's our fruit crostata. Strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries are in there. You can see we got a nice golden crust. A little bit of a shine there from that turbinado sugar. So that's how that turned out. Absolutely perfect. You want to serve this with some homemade whipped cream. Trust me, don't use the stuff in the blue and white tub. Use the homemade stuff. So for a family of 4, you're going to need about 8 ounces of heavy cream, a big heaping tablespoon of powdered sugar, and about a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And just blend that up with your mixer, with a whisk, inside your stand mixer, whatever it takes. Just whip that up until it becomes whipped cream. You're going to love that so much more than the store-bought stuff, and it's better for you too, okay? So try that out, but a little bit of this in a bowl with some whipped cream. Listen, it's been fun making this Italian class for you. I hope you do check out our website, patterfamsauces.com. Go out to the recipe tab and find this recipe and make it. And if you make it, put a picture out on our Facebook page, Patter Fam Sauces, or the Pastor's Pantry Facebook page, and tag us in that so we can brag about you, okay? Listen, make this soon. We love having you on the show each time we put one out. God bless you. Have a blessed cooking time.